Hey, it's SHEENA. Welcome back to the Astrology Masterclass. Today we are going to be talking about the astrology sign of Aquarius. So next sign is Aquarius. Yay, my sign. Yay, Aquarius. Aquarians, I love you. So we're some interesting people. Let's start with the body part of Aquarius. So the Aquarius rules the ankles and just the lower half of the leg. The fact that Aquarius rules like the ankle joints, and so this point of connection between your groundedness and where Capricorn represents the bones and the structure, and the next sign being like the feet representing, the future and moving forward into the future. Aquarius is oftentimes at this juncture point, this crossroads of what it is that they need to be doing next. And so Aquarius is oftentimes, if not always, living in the future. Aquarius is always looking forward, future planning, maybe living, because they are an air sign, living in their mind a bit. Someone that is really focused on humanity and the consciousness of humanity and what that means in a spiritual sense, but also what that means in like an everyday tangible sense. What it is that people need to feel good, to be well, not just feel good, but to feel well in their body, and so they can show up as themselves. Aquarius represents kind of like the mad scientist energy, someone that's really eccentric or oftentimes a little bit ahead of their time. So Aquarians tend to feel sometimes displaced or like the other in some sense. And really Aquarians are come into this life or into anyone's experience to show them ultimately what it means to be exactly who they are. And of course, this, as for any sign, this is never an easy way, particularly for Aquarius though, because they are often interested in things that are different or unexplainable, or things that are a little bit maybe like untrendy when they are first interested in them. And over time, people can kind of look back and see where Aquarius was really at the forefront. And so this time of Aquarius in the lifespan, the age and stage of Aquarius is represented by like the 70s, and that time frame of we've traveled, we've learned, and so now what do we want to do and need to do for humanity? What do we want and need to do for the people that, yes, are in our lives and the loved ones that we have, but also too for the broader sense, for the greater good. And so Aquarius will really have this lesson in this lifetime or in their lifetime to find out what they feel like humanity needs and to be able to offer that in whatever skill set a particular Aquarius has. So as an example, Aquarius could be focused on wellness through eating. And so perhaps their business idea or their pursuit, their life purpose is really about being able to feed people in a way that nourishes their heart and soul, and also, of course, provides nourishment, like physical nourishment. So Aquarius is represented by the water bear. Oftentimes people think of the water bear being a water sign, or aqua, or Aquarius being water, but we are actually ruled by the air, or the element of air. And when we think of like the water, the waves that represent Aquarius, we think of it as water, waves of water, but it's actually waves of energy. And so Aquarius is very much a sign that's tapped into their emotions, the energy, and things that are not like nonverbal communication, essentially. Because of this, Aquarius is oftentimes like reading situations, reading between the lines, things that people don't say, and how this shows up in society, how this shows up in humanity. And Aquarius will oftentimes be the mouthpiece for humanity and for how systems need to change, because we've just come from this from Capricorn, from this systems place, from this place of structure. And Aquarius will oftentimes be the one to dismantle the structure, dismantle the system, or maybe point out or critique and edit how the structure can be or should be more inclusive, or tap into experiences of the greater good, all experiences, and to understand that we cannot really truly work in silos to create change. And so for Aquarius and their opposite sign is Leo. And so Leo, we know, is a very expressive sign, a sign that's can be dramatic and really likes to experience the pleasure of life. Aquarius could learn, every opposite sign needs to and can learn from their partner sign. And so Aquarius can learn from Leo to take a break at times, to really to kind of pause and refuel themselves by accessing the good life and not feeling like they need to constantly be working on behalf of others, because their personal pleasure is so important to be able to sustain the work that they're doing. If you do community work or humanitarian work, sometimes you can get a little bit disillusioned because, look at the state of the world. So it is important for Aquarius to remember to, tap into that joy, tap into that pleasure, those lessons of Leo, and what is ultimately needed for themselves first, and then to be able to share that knowledge and learning with society. So I'm going to get into a card, an oracle. Full moon, surrender to the divine. So it's interesting. I had, if you follow me on Instagram, I had done a reading earlier in 2020 about surrendering. And this energy is coming up back again. So I'm going to repeat a little bit of what I said then. And that is to try to not control too much, try to not exert too much control. This time is really about being like water and learning what it means to find where you fit. And it doesn't have to be like an actual fitting anywhere. It's allowing yourself to be moved out of spaces that no longer fit. And even if you don't know where the next space is, knowing that, by surrendering to the divine, he, she, they, we will guide you. And to allow yourself to connect to yourself, to your heart, to your soul, to your mind, because that is divine. You are divine. We are divine. And everyone has Aquarius somewhere. So this message could also be for everyone too, for humanity, but specifically for Aquarius. So thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you would like to continue following my journey and following me on the socials, you can check them out here. So definitely check out One People to Yo and the work that I'm doing there. And if you enjoy this video, definitely like and leave a comment. And if you can subscribe because you want to follow what Queer Collective is doing. And if you want to find out anything else about how astrology applies to you specifically, to your chart, if you want to get a reading or even just more content in this way, reach out to let us know what you want to see. Right on. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.